Already we are beginning Psalm 9. It's hard to believe this makes 11 days, counting the 2 Sundays, but nonetheless, we are at Psalm 9. As a brief introduction, I'd like us to think about various ways we might continue to read the Psalms together. I'm going to present one each day. But as for reading them individually, over the time of the Christian church, and I'm sure for hundreds and thousands of years before, persons read them in many ways. Some of them read a verse a day and spent maybe hours with it. A few, just after the time of Jesus, read the entire book of Psalms or recited it from memory, even more remarkably, every day. Eugene Peterson, as we said at the beginning of this series, suggested that we read one psalm a day. When we get to the end, continue on through. There are various lectionaries that give us daily readings, some morning, some evening, some both, some weekly, some monthly. These have been in place from at least the time of Augustine, around 400. The monk Benedict suggested a weekly reading of Psalms, and in our own time, Peter Gomes of Harvard Chapel suggests reading them quickly through a 2-week cycle. The idea in all of this is to become immersed in the Psalms, to see their patterns, to see how they impact our life, and to let this pattern, to let this information, if you will, this revelation, become part of us so that we live it out in our daily life, and we will see that we do this. Today with Psalm 9, I'm not going to read it all. I'm going to read verses 1 and 2, 7 to 10, and then 19 and 20. Here we go. I will give thanks to the Lord with my whole heart. I will recount all of your wonderful deeds. I will be glad and exult in you. I will sing praise to your name, O Most High. But the Lord sits enthroned forever. He has established his throne for justice, and he judges the world with righteousness. He judges the peoples with uprightness. The Lord is a stronghold for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble, and those who know your name put their trust in you. For you, O Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the nations be judged before you. Put them in fear, O Lord. Let the nations know that they are but men. And so you see here a cycle, a pattern. We begin with thanksgiving and praise, and we turn to judgment, and we continue with petition for God to act as God. And it is one thing to see that the psalmist does this, but it is another to see that we go through these very same patterns in our lives. Very often we begin with elation and give thanks and we give praise, and suddenly we bottom out in depression or anxiety or fear. And this reminds me that there is nothing new under the sun. We are one with the psalmist. Like them, we are OCD, ADHD, bipolar, and schizophrenic. This is daily, hourly, monthly, yearly. These are our life patterns. I give thanks. I bottom out. I return. And here I see there is great grace in the 5th point of Calvinism. Perseverance of the saints, or God will never let us go. And you will see as we continue through the Psalms, all phases of human emotion. Underneath this is something more wonderful. And this is odd, considering that so many of the Old Testament heroes are liars, cheats, adulterers, even murderers, backsliders, we used to call them. That in between their exaltation and lament, what we hear is a voice of astonishing confidence. That term, astonishing confidence, comes from Barth. They believe in their righteousness, they believe in their innocence, they believe in their purity, and they come to God on these grounds. And in this, the psalm points us forward to our own overwhelming confidence, not in ourselves, but in Jesus Christ, who was perfect righteousness, who was perfectly innocent, who was pure, and whose righteousness, innocence, and purity we receive in our faith. For in him we are righteous, innocent, and pure, and can come to God with this astonishing confidence in our prayers. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.